Another new feature in Tableau Desktop 2020.3 focuses on improving the ability of the workbook author to search through fields in the data pane. This new feature is called the Worksheet data pane search operators, and it can be found in the left-hand side if you're in the sheet view. At the moment, I'm connected to a data source and a workbook built by my colleague Andy Kriebel. And what this particular feature helps you with is if a data source has lots of fields and has lots of calculated fields, that you can easily search through the data pane. Now, data pane, as you might know, can be found on the top left of your screen. We have the normal search here, which has always been there. But now we have some new options. We have the filter by option. So if we use a drop down here, we can see we can now filter by a calculation, a dimension, a measure, and even a comment. For example, what that could mean is if you have calculations and dimensions that have fairly similar names, traditionally, if you search for them, it's just doing a wildcard search on everything. However, now you can, for example, say calculation, and you can immediately see, if I go down here as well, you can see that it now only already filters down to calculations. And now I can start typing in, for example, customers. And that means that now only calculations that have the words custo or customers in it will be found. Now, you don't necessarily have to use the drop-down yourself here. You can also type in, for example, C for calculation or D for dimension. And another really interesting new feature is that you can also search by comment. What that will do is comments are often a part of Tableau that is less used. However, I think that can be quite powerful. If we go to comments already, I've added a few comments in this data source. And imagine you have authors and creators that are not that familiar with the lingo of the fields in your data source. For example, we have customers. If I start typing in client, we can see that it also filters down to customers. And that is because I have set in the actual field here that the comment is client. So let me zoom out. We can see if I now go to the default properties and go to comment, we can see that I added in clients. So you can add kind of tags in here that allow the user to search through it. Another one is, for example, I added for previous year to date sales field. That's kind of last year. So if you type last, you can see that it now filters down to this one as well. Because if I go to the comment, we can see I typed in last year's sales. So that can really help people to further and quickly understand what your data sources and fields mean. Another small feature that has been added is if I go back to the caret of the dropdown, I can now change the group by. So I can either group by folder or group by data source table. Especially in the new relationship model, this will be really useful because you can either group them kind of traditionally, or you can group them by folder. So you can kind of style and design the way this data pane looks the way you want.